It's off the grid
with the music business heritage.
Leslie Cross-Jr.
and Marlon Huntsberry.
Providing the information that you need to thrive as an independent, to build a pliable leverage and carve a true empowered success.
Knowledge equals empowerment, and empowerment equals freedom.
Welcome to episode 4.
Welcome, resistance fighters.
What's up, people?
Mr. Huntsberry, man, how's life been for you?
I'm blessed, Mr. Cross. I'm really enjoying the fact that we can spread the gospel here.
Man, I feel you, dude. There's been a lot going on, resistance fighters, man. We're getting feedback. We appreciate you guys taking time out to check us out. We're excited about this format. We can't wait to get into today's episode. Mr. Marlon, you ready?
Let's do it.
All right. Now, what we like to do with each episode that we bring to you, we want to try to establish consistently what we mean by off the grid. Now, our definition of off the grid means that an artist, producer, band, or independent record label has decided to maintain ownership and control over their massive recordings and to work their musical projects using their own sources of revenue, their own connection points, and their own grind points. Off the grid is a concept that is created from the bottom up. Bottom up meaning that it starts with you, not with anybody else. It's what your vision, what your dream is. Saying that a different way, you don't allow a corporate conglomerate to tell you what type of music is or is not acceptable for you to market, what is relevant or permissible for you to create or pursue. To the contrary, you do the music that is birthed out of your own soul, out of your own experience, out of your own expression, out of your own human uniqueness, all right? You do that music. Off the grid means that you fight a guerrilla campaign in building your fan base and finding a market for your music through the use of technology, books, tactics, systems, strategies, teams, and assimilation. That's what off the grid is. It's bottom up, meaning that you take control. It's your vision. You don't allow other people to give you a vision for what they want you to do. You maintain the vision for what you want to do.
So you stay free.
So you stay free. Off the grid is a lifestyle, it's a movement, it's a way of life. Mr. Huntsberry, man, I'm excited about this segment of the show, because in this segment we give you things you need to know in order to do this thing off the grid effectively. Now, in the last episode, what we talked about was intellectual property.
Yes.
We dealt with the concept of intellectual property, meaning who owns what in the musical recording. If you need to review that information, check out that episode. You'll get the background that you need. And what we're going to do is we will expand on these, because we don't want to make this show boring.
It's not going to be a lecture.
We're not lecturing. We just want to give you the concept so that you can get a grasp of what we're trying to convey through this episode, through these episodes, I should say. But today what we want to focus in on is the concept of split sheets. Now, split sheets are critically important if you compose music or if you're a songwriter, if you write lyrics, all right? Now, the split sheets denote or they indicate who did what on a track. So, for example, if Marlon and myself do a composition, Marlon composes the music, I write all the lyrics. When we get through with that composition, what we need to do immediately, Mr. Huntsberry, is sit down on a piece of paper. It don't have to be with all the legal ease on it. You just get your piece of paper, call it split sheet of song Forever and a Day. Let's say it's called Forever and a Day, all right? So in that split sheet, Marlon's going to put on there, he controls 50% of that track because he did the music. I'm going to put that I own 50% of the track because I did all the lyrics. And we're going to date it and we're going to sign it. That way, now we both have established our ownership stake in that particular composition. Now, does that make sense to you, Mr. Huntsberry?
Makes sense to me. Get it over with now so it won't be any doubts later on.
Because people will get new on you.
Yes, well, they'll forget.
They'll forget.
They'll have selective memory, all that kind of stuff.
Right,
Even
right.
if it's your friend,
Yes.
you just never know. So just get it out the way. Now, one thing I want to make sure that we clarify, when he's saying track, he means the combined music and lyrics.
Yes, the complete song.
Right.
When that has been accomplished, if you get the song finished and you got the words and the music to it, at that particular stage, sit down, write it out. I did this, Mr. Hunsberry did that. Now, if it's more than one lyricist, if let's say you wrote one verse, another person wrote another verse, or it's just two people that did the music, then quite naturally, everybody needs to write down what they did. Okay, and we'll talk about percentages in the later episode, but today we just want to get across the point that it's important that you document your ownership in a recording.
Soldier. Off the grid, soldier. Off the grid, soldier. Off the grid, soldier.
Man, I am so excited about these off the grid soldiers this week. Man, who we gonna talk about, Mr.
Love
Hunsberry?
these boys back from the old school. For our youngsters, you may not know, but they're relevant today. Mint Condition.
Mint Condition is our off the grid soldiers for this episode. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with Mint Condition, they I'm not going to categorize them. Mr. Hunsberry is going to talk about their hatred for categorization a little bit later. But Mint Condition is a great band. I'll just say it that way. And they were discovered by Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis a number of years ago. But we love their story. Mint Condition basically presents some lessons that we need to pull out from them that are applicable to Off the Grid.
Speak on it.
The first lesson that we learned from Mint Condition is musicianship. Those guys took time to actually learn their instruments and how to play them. We cannot overemphasize that point. If you're going to do this thing off the grid, you have got to be a great musician. You have to understand whatever it is. I mean, if your vocals are your instrument, then you need to be great at being a vocalist. If you're a guitarist, you're a bassist, drummer, whatever it is, master your instrument. It's critical that you have that under your belt, okay? The second lesson that we learned from Mint Condition is showmanship, Mr. Hunsberry. These guys get it. They understand that you have got to be able to take this thing to the stage and destroy audiences. I mean, everywhere they play, they just
Captivate.
they just captivate everybody that they deal with, Mr. Hunsberry. The third thing and the final thing that we'll pull out at this point is work ethic. Mint Condition are grinders. They don't care. I mean, I was in researching the Off the Grid Soldier. We looked at them and we found out that even before Jam and Lewis discovered them, these guys had carved out a 5-state region that they had just a hardcore fan base that loved everything that they do. They were playing in Minnesota, obviously, that's where they're from, but Wisconsin, Iowa, Dakota, and Nebraska. Now, those states, Mr. Hunsberry, are not traditionally entertainment states. They're not glamorous, but Mint Condition rolled up their sleeves, put on their work boots, and they did what they had to do.
Door to door.
Now, Mr. Hunsberry, man, you did some additional research on Mint Condition, man. Break down the intel for us, man.
Well, what I love about these guys is they believe in freedom of expression. And
Yes, sir.
One of the major issues that I remember Stokely talking about in an interview was being categorized. You know, the reason why they decided to go off the grid and get off the major labels was to have the freedom to be able to record the songs that they felt.
Man, I feel that.
And stop being categorized. Like they would try to categorize the band as just an old school R&B band, but they played all kinds of music.
Right.
So he felt like he couldn't get that freedom on a major label to do that.
They put a handcuff on.
They was handcuffed.
Right.
So that was one of the main things I really loved about the Spirit. He's like, look, don't call us an R&B band. We're a band.
Right, we're a band.
You know.
For the rest of this program, click on part 2.
What have you done?
What are you doing?
And what will you do for the movement?
We'll see you guys next time.
Thrive off the grid until you get married.